Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. John Hood and Chris Fitzsimon. A recent poll from Elon University found that 68% of the people that they sampled said it's hard for a family earning $50,000 a year to afford affordable housing, to find affordable housing. 69% favored the government taking action to increase affordable housing, including 52% of the Republicans they polled. Your reactions to this, John?
Well, I would be in the majority on that question of should the government take action. Now, the debate will be what action should the government take. I'm not as much interested in subsidizing housing as I am in reducing the actual cost of building homes and renovating homes. Some parts of North Carolina do not have a real crisis here, but others do. These tend to be communities that are, number one, high demand. People want to live in them. There are jobs there, and people want to move there. But it is very difficult to expand the housing stock to supply the housing that people need. It is simply too expensive to build. It's hard to get permits. Some of these communities talk a good game about density, but then will not permit multifamily dwellings.
And you got planning and zoning issues and
it is a very challenging thing to do. And by the way, this is not simply a question of whether not enough builders will build very low-cost housing. I'm in favor of doing that, but any increase in the housing stock is good because it moves people into the new home. Even if the new home is pricey,
right,
then it frees up housing stock, used housing stock that can be rented or sold to other people.
I want to just comment on a column you wrote this past week. You were talking about the coronavirus and the proper role of government. But I think this is another example. I would commend folks to read it. It was a good
Every
column.
Now and then it's worth
Every now
right,
and
Chris?
then. Chris?
No.
Okay. So he's never written anything good.
I mean, maybe.
So your reaction to this Elon poll?
Well, I think it's interesting and encouraging in a way. I do agree that we're going to disagree about probably some of the things that government should do, but government has to play a role. I'm always struck by, and I've been talking about this issue for a long time, in a lot of our cities we have police officers who protect areas of the city that they can know. I mean, that's always true, but they can't even live in the city in which they work, for example. Teachers have a hard time. There's been a lot of discussion in North Carolina about even making that an incentive for teachers, figuring out a way. Some counties have experimented with that. So I think there's a lot of creative solutions.
The old teacherage concept.
Right. But in North Carolina, we have something called the Housing Trust Fund, which has had a lot of success, which I think has never been funded adequately to the level, which it does help employers and uses the tax system and other things to make it affordable for developers and developers have supported that to build affordable housing. This is actually a problem I think that we can solve. In one of the areas, I actually think the left and the right can come together on some compromise, easing maybe some of the regulations and restrictions, but also giving some public investment to developers to do this if we put our mind to it. And I think there's widespread public support for it.
The big problem that I find in affordable housing, particularly in these communities you were talking about that are desirable communities, is the cost of land.
Yes.
When you're looking at a third of an acre lot in, for instance, Raleigh, costing $200,000 to $300,000, it's difficult for any developer to be able to build any kind of affordable housing on that.
Well, again, you've got some existing stock that people could move into if you built higher-end homes. But the other thing, as I mentioned earlier, but again, this is an area of left-right collaboration, but the center may prevent it, the center, which is that people are in theory in favor of high-density development, multifamily development on expensive pieces
until
of
it comes
land,
to your neighborhood.
Until it's near them, and they go, no way. Well, you know, as a free market person, my answer to that is it's none of your business. It's not your property. And the left has a different answer, but maybe both of those answers can help.
Oh, we're going to have fun discussions about this, I'm sure. Well, thank you for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.